Around 1,500 people lost their lives when the Titanic sank on April 15, 1912. This number includes those who died in the sinking of the ship as well as those who succumbed to injuries after the collision. Initially, it was thought that around 685 people aboard the Titanic didn't survive, with the death toll estimated to be about 1,500. However, more accurate records provided by the survivors and the White Star Line showed that the actual figure was much higher. An extensive investigation in 1912 concluded that the final death toll was 1,517 people. Of these deaths, about 832 were crew members, and about 685 were passengers. Women and children were particularly affected as many of them found the lifeboats difficult to access. According to reports, the majority of those who died were third-class passengers. While many of them were unable to escape the doomed vessel, some were rescued by emergency personnel. Sadly, the death toll also included many brave crew members who assisted in the rescue operations. Most of the 589 first-class passengers survived. The majority of those who perished were the second and third-class passengers. Out of the 2,223 passengers and crew members, only 706 survived. Most of the deceased were men, however women and children also perished due to their inability to access the lifeboats. Reports also suggest that the crew's inability to accurately assess the situation cost many lives. Compounding the problem was the fact that the ship had been launched at an increased speed of 22 knots, making it harder to stop in time. Poor training and a lack of safety regulations also played a part in the high death toll. The crew had not been adequately trained to handle such an emergency, resulting in a lack of coordination between tasks. Out of all the passengers, only 35% of first-class passengers and 26% of second-class passengers survived. This is in stark contrast to the third-class passengers, who had a survival rate of only 24%. While it is estimated that only 32% of occupants of the Titanic came out alive, those who did know the significance of their escape. With over 1,500 lives lost, it stands as one of the worst maritime disasters in modern history. The accident caused a great shock to everyone and changed the face of maritime safety regulations. New standards of safety were introduced in its aftermath, with all vessels now required to have lifeboats for all passengers and crew members. It also resulted in an improved availability of trained personnel and the implementation of better management practices. The tragedy also forced the maritime industry to re-evaluate and revise the rules and regulations that govern cargo shipping.